Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of SpongeBob Now. Today, I will be talking about Restraining SpongeBob and Fiasco. First, I'm going to talk about Restraining SpongeBob. Enjoy. At home, Squidward wakes up from bed and is increasingly annoyed by SpongeBob sharpening his trusty spatula. As he walks to the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob annoys him by repeatedly asking if he can walk with him. Once they end up at work, Squidward gets angry. SpongeBob continues to be annoying, especially when he cannot seem to figure out the mustard dispenser is empty, with its sound effects causing a patron to think Squidward has a farting problem. Squidward enters the kitchen to get it through to SpongeBob. Eventually, he leans on the grill and accidentally burns his right tentacle. When SpongeBob tries to put the fire out with a bucket of water, he accidentally spills it onto the floor, causing Squidward to slip. As Squidward flies through the air, SpongeBob tries to catch him in a jellyfishing net, but it breaks, and it accidentally drops Squidward into the deep fryer. The more SpongeBob tries to help him by running over to the deep fryer, by pulling out a fried Squidward, the more he accidentally bungles things, and further injures Squidward by tripping over a mop. After accidentally tripping over the mop, SpongeBob now lands into the order window, causing Squidward to flip right out of the basket, and knocking out a customer's Krabby Patty. The customer then accidentally bites into Squidward's own flesh, resulting in Squidward screaming in pain, and the customer freaks out. The customer now throws Squidward back to SpongeBob, and lands into the mouth by bouncing right off. When Squidward crashes into a soda machine, breaking it, Mr. Krabs now comes out of the office crying, and SpongeBob goes over to him and asks if he is all right. Squidward screams and runs from him, hiding behind a table. When SpongeBob gets closer, Squidward resorts to climbing the walls and ceiling of the Krusty Krab to get away from him. Mr. Krabs then reveals SpongeBob really set him, Squidward, over the edge. The next day, Squidward gives SpongeBob a gift, a restraining order, which his 3 lawyers from the law offices of Harry, Combeover, and Bald explain to him. They tell SpongeBob that he cannot come within 15 feet of Squidward or he will go to jail. SpongeBob is confused, but when Squidward tells him that he cannot prepare Krabby Patties if he is in jail, he is struck with fear and he does everything he can to avoid coming within 15 feet of Squidward. SpongeBob resumes working, but unfortunately, the window from which SpongeBob gives orders to Squidward is within the 15 feet range, so the cash register and the counter are moved to the right, by the restroom door. SpongeBob tries to give the orders to Squidward by means of a pole, but Squidward ignores it. When SpongeBob tells Mr. Krabs that he is having trouble with his work due to the restraining order imposed on him by Squidward, Mr. Krabs states that he doesn't know what a restraining order is, but since it is hindering business, he tells SpongeBob he has to think of another way, or he'll have more stars removed from his employee performance chart. Mr. Krabs then removes a gold star from SpongeBob's performance chart, causing the latter to freak out, and he began thinking of a way to make his job easier, and he immediately got an idea. In the next scene, Patrick is tiptoeing to Squidward. Squidward tries to ignore him, but it does not work. Patrick tries to tell Squidward he now has a hat. Mr. Krabs reveals that he hired Patrick as a middleman. Squidward will not stand it now that the employees are both his annoying neighbors. So, he marches over to Mr. Krabs and complains to him. However, Mr. Krabs, having possibly learned about restraining orders, tells Squidward that unless he lifts the restraining order against SpongeBob, he will have to put up with Patrick, which annoys Squidward due to how SpongeBob used logic against him. At first, things go smoothly, as SpongeBob prepares the food and passes Patrick, who gives the order to Squidward. Unfortunately, Patrick asks Squidward if he can watch him work. Squidward says no, but Patrick continues to watch. Patrick does things that annoy Squidward, such as following him around the Krusty Krab, appearing inside the cash register, using the bathroom with him, and even merely touching his hat. Squidward becomes very nervous that Patrick could appear any minute before he freaks when Mr. Krabs says his name and tells him it is time for his break. Squidward decides to play his clarinet. He opens his clarinet box to play, but it is not there. Patrick tells Squidward that he cleaned the bathroom, to which Squidward sarcastically tells him that he did well. But Patrick then tells Squidward that the toilet plunger is broken, as he used Squidward's clarinet to clean the toilets, angering Squidward. Mr. Krabs congratulates Patrick before telling Squidward his break is over. Squidward resumes work when a customer orders a lot of food and asks if that is too much food. Squidward tells him, that depends. When the customer asks, on what? Squidward tells him, how long do you want to live, and laughs, much to the customer's annoyance. Squidward then turns around to give Patrick the order, only to get his nose caught in Patrick's mouth. Squidward breaks free of Patrick but gets flung across the restaurant, making Patrick laugh. Patrick then finds a button on Squidward's post. A random fish comes in with a seaberry pie, but he screams when he sees Squidward flying towards him and leaves the pie in midair. Squidward's face gets smashed into the seaberry pie, which causes him to suffer an allergic reaction by swelling. Squidward knows what he must do and heads to the kitchen, but SpongeBob hides per the restraining order telling him to stay away, while Patrick mistakes Squidward for a monster calling out to SpongeBob's name. Patrick thinks Squidward is going to hurt SpongeBob. So, he attacks him. Seeing both of them fighting, SpongeBob wants to help, but he is afraid of violating the restraining order and serving jail time. In the end, his desire to help his friends wins out, and he interferes in their fight and stops it. Patrick at this point finds out that the monster is Squidward, according to SpongeBob, and he blames his button for not telling him. Squidward angrily takes the restraining order from SpongeBob, who begs him for mercy, to which Squidward tells him to hand him a pen. SpongeBob tearfully hands a pen before Squidward tells SpongeBob he is not going to jail. Instead of sending SpongeBob to jail, Squidward uses the pen to take SpongeBob's name off the restraining order, releasing him from it, which is what he originally intended to do before being interrupted by Patrick. He then adds that he's replacing SpongeBob with someone who's far more deserving. Patrick then says sorry to his button, before Squidward tells Patrick that he is on the restraining order, not his button, but the episode ends with Patrick laughing hysterically for seemingly no reason. Next, I'm going to talk about Fiasco. Enjoy. The episode opens up with Patrick, dressed in a business suit, asking where can he get something to eat. Squidward walks in and tells him the answer is before him, the Krusty Krab. Mr. Krabs, dressed in a leotard, jumps out of the restaurant, and SpongeBob slides down a rainbow to his side. Squidward rides a dolphin while holding a plate of Krabby Patties, which Patrick eats. Suddenly, SpongeBob describes Patrick's actions. The scene then turns to him and Mr. Krabs in front of a storyboard plan for a commercial. Mr. Krabs asks why he is in a leotard, and he says it is because he is the mascot. Mr. Krabs does not like this, so he tears up the storyboard, telling him he needs a masterpiece. Saddened, SpongeBob walks to Squidward's counter in depression and tells him about his problems, but Squidward does not care. After having seen a patron squirt ketchup and mustard onto a plate, Squidward looks at said plate and recognizes it as the art style of Fiasco. Although initially having planned to throw it away, Mr. Krabs, seeing an opportunity to make money, tries to take the artwork from Squidward, and they argue over who really owns it. Just then, Farfel Bainbridge, an art evaluator, comes in and declares the work to be authentic, and thereby a national treasure, thus meaning neither Mr. Krabs nor Squidward own it. Mr. Krabs allows people to view it in his restaurant for free provided they order Krabby Patties, 2 each. Later, Plankton sees the artwork and mistakes it for garbage. Planning to reverse engineer the recipe, he steals it. Police officers immediately chase him and dog him every step of the way. When he loses them, he is baffled as to why the police are chasing him, rather than Mr. Krabs. At night, Plankton knocks on Patrick's rock, but when Patrick answers, he angrily tells him that he has a busy day of doing nothing the following day. Plankton then goes to SpongeBob's house and demands an explanation as to why the police are after him. SpongeBob explains that what he has stolen is, in fact, a priceless work of art. Plankton gets the idea to sell the artwork and declares SpongeBob and Gary to be accomplices to his crime. Gary is scared that he is going to be put in jail. Enraged by these accusations, SpongeBob confronts Plankton about this as they start to argue. Suddenly, Patrick storms in and furiously reminds Plankton that he wants some sleep as he is noticeably seen eating something. When SpongeBob asks what Patrick is eating, it is revealed that he ate the artwork, which he mistook for hors d'oeuvres, much to SpongeBob's and Plankton's horror. SpongeBob realizes that Patrick is eating the merchandise, with Plankton declaring him an accomplice as well. Suddenly, Squidward bursts in with the police and then lies to them about all of the noise. When they see Plankton, they immediately arrest him, along with Squidward for lying to them and also everyone else until they can figure this whole situation out. Finding himself arrested, Squidward tries to prove his innocence. At the Bikini Bottom Police Department, Plankton and Squidward are locked away. Gary, Patrick, and SpongeBob are free since Mr. Krabs explained that they were not involved with the theft. Mr. Krabs starts crying, saddened that the Fiasco is now gone. However, since the artwork is now in Patrick's stomach, SpongeBob has an idea and Mr. Krabs has him stand behind an X-ray machine, which shows the artwork inside him. Fiasco is moved by Patrick's style, stating that he will never paint again as he starts smashing all of his paintings in frustration. The episode ends with Squidward, who is still locked up, asking about his phone call. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. Goodbye everyone.